Hello and welcome, and good to be back. I'll just bring Keith in so you can see he's still here. Yes, there he
Yeah,
is.
good afternoon, everybody. And there is a 20-second delay
Is it
between
as long as that?
StreamYard and YouTube at the moment. Yeah, just timed it on your intro.
Oh right, yeah, yeah. But you shouldn't get too much result of that. It's us that can if we start
Mm,
swapping channels. But anyway, very good to see you here. Keith will go through who is here.
yeah, in a
It
bit.
sounds like 9 at the moment, but I'm sure that will increase as we go along. And as I'll put Keith in the background again. As you will have seen on YouTube, we're making pens today. Um, it's something I haven't done for a little while. It's a good thing to do because it's a very good project for a beginner. And I will try and go through the whole process from beginning to end. But if you have any queries, do please ask questions. We're here to answer them, and we're happy to answer them. Okay, so let's have a look and see what we've got on the lathe. I can't remember which one I was going to use now. That
Not that
one?
one.
No, not that one. We'll go to that one. I think
That's
that's
the
better.
better one, yeah.
Right. This is one. This is obviously I've cut the blanks to length, and this is a bit of a mukwa. My daughter gave me for my birthday some pen blanks, and this is the timber that she gave me. Mukwa I've never heard of. No idea what it behaves like, but we're only going to be drilling and putting the brass tube in on this, and then I'll swap to some Paduke because that's already prepared. The resin has gone off. It's holding. So drilling. All sorts of questions about drilling usually, about the best way to hold them, the best way to drill them. There are lots of differences of opinion, and Keith and I were discussing that just now, in fact. But I'm just going to simply drilling it. I'm going to drill it on the lathe because it's all nice and square. It doesn't matter if the hole wanders a little bit. It really doesn't make any difference. Um, so 7mm drill bit. It tells you in the kit what size you need. And just introduce it to the timber very slowly at first, giving it a chance to dig out a little channel. That's it, it's into the timber now, it's not wobbling, so we'll go right the way through. It's a decent quality drill bit, so you don't get the problem with it clogging the way that you can do with some. You can actually see when it comes through the end, which it's there now. You can actually feel it as well and hear it.
So do you want to cover the keyboard up before you get shouted at?
I could do, yes, it's not going to be splashing anything much around just yet,
No,
but yes, I will, of course.
because we can see it in that shot.
Yes. No secrets. There we are. Right, so that's that one drilled. It's as simple as that. And we'll take that one out, put the other half in. And I have marked the centre. There it is. Can you see that? No, I'm not in line.
Yeah, just
Somewhere,
about see it if you take your hand out of the way.
somewhere,
Drop it down.
somewhere there.
Yep, see it
You
there.
see, you can see I've got arrows just about pointing to the middle bit. It's not important on this because there's not a great deal of grain to worry about. But if you want to match the grain when you finish the pen, always have the timber in the same orientation as it was before you cut it. So I marked it with arrows. I've marked all of them with arrows, and I will make sure that's the end I start drilling from. In other words, it's going in there like that with the arrow here. That way at least there's a chance that hole might be in the middle. Not that it's too critical, but the more critical one is the next stage, which we'll come to, which is flattening the ends off to give it something to actually grip. Well, it's not quite the next stage, it's the next stage but one. We've got to glue the tube into here first. Right, there's that one drilled through.
So do you want to know who's in the chat before you
Yes,
go any
please.
further?
Thank you very much.
Looks like you are to start with. And then Gerard is in, Lawrence, Bergasia, Chris Dodds, all the way from down under, Peter Cochrane. Alison was in for a bit. She's hoping everyone's well, but she's got to go out to a meeting in a little while.
That's right, she has, yes.
David J. Heath, the Guildford carpenter. Malcolm Douglas. Four King Owls. Is that Rob?
Do you know, I can't remember. I'm dreadful.
Yeah.
I think it is,
Yeah,
yes.
so, yeah, I think it's Rob, but if it isn't, apologies. He's in. Andrew at Wyvie's Woodshed. Roger Kent. Michael Buckingham. That's a new name.
Yes.
Or it's one that I don't recognise, shall we say. He might well have been in before, but not graced ours, I don't think. But you're all welcome. Still going down the list. Terry Hooper's made it on time today. God, they can chat, can't they? Brian at Hartwood's in. And if it was Rob at Forking Owls, what drill biz is that and where did you buy it? I would imagine it's the Axminster one, and
it's the Axminster 7mm, and it's the one for pens. It's specifically designed for pens.
It's actually a longer one.
Yes, a long series, yeah.
Long series, but unless you're doing longer pens, you can get away with a normal dormer twist drill for pens. Barry's Wood Creations is in. Mark the Gentleman's in.
Hello, Mark.
Robert Dolman. Lucy's in.
Oh, Lucy. And Robin, presumably.
Oh, he'll be at work, or he should be at work.
Oh, he should be, yes, of course he should.
Yeah, he should be at work. So
Stay. No, wrong one.
I think. Oh, Jennifer's in.
Hello, Jennifer.
Linnykins is in. Hi, kiddo. No, it's Martin at Forking Owls. I guess we were wrong.
Yeah.
Sorry, Martin.
That,
yeah, we got a good excuse. It's something to do with age.
Certainly is.
Woodworm Paul is in. And
hello, Paul.
Nick Castle. God, as quick as I go down the list, it grows on the bottom.
Yes, yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
We get lots of people along.
No, Robin's at work. It's just Lucy.
Yeah, just Lucy, right? Well, it's good to see you,
You're
Lucy.
more than welcome, Lucy. I've got to the bottom of the list, and if I've missed anyone, I do apologise. Stick your name in with an "or you miss me," and we can rectify that. So while I've been going through the list, Andy's mixed up some epoxy, I believe.
It is, indeed.
And
I've glued the tubes into the two that we've just drilled. But I have a selection here which I already glued, because obviously you've got to wait for, they say 5 minutes, but it usually is better if you leave it longer.
So it is with that depth I found, yeah.
Yeah.
So we've got Paul Heighton, the Greasby Turners, joined us as well.
So we shift all this out of the way, because that's done and dusted. Leave those on there. Oh, don't put your finger on the wet epoxy. Right, so. Oh. Excuse me, I'm just getting over a cold, so there will be numerous stops for blowing nose and making horrible noises, and I apologise for that. But I'm getting better, much better now. Right, okay. So that was the second stage, is to glue the tube in, which that's not rocket science. And you saw
No,
what I
but
did.
the one bit that you do need to do that Andy didn't mention is you need to scuff up the tubes a bit.
Yes,
I just
sorry, I'd done
generally
that
rub
previously.
them with a bit of 120 grit just to
Yeah,
give them something to. Yes, he
it
has,
it
Alison.
helps.
He's been told. Yeah,
What's that?
it just
Oh yeah,
helps for the glue to stick to the tubes.
that's right. It gives a key, doesn't it? So
It gives it a key. Yeah.
okay. So when it's all done, that's what you end up with. This is the pieces of product I'm actually going to turn into a pen now. So a bit scruffy on one end. So what I tend to do, the thing that we use for sorting this out is we've got to square the ends up and get them back to where the brass tube is, so that it got a nice square end and it'll sit nicely on the mandrel. You use one of these sort of devices,
An end
if you can
mill.
see that, an end mill.
Yeah.
This is not what
Terry
I would
from
recommend.
TJ's just come
Oh,
in.
hello, Terry. This is not my favourite one. This was the one I bought a new one. I had the old one. I bought a new one, and that diameter is exactly the same as that diameter. So therefore, this end mill bit can actually be anywhere on there. But what it does is leave a very small gap between the shaft and the blades, the cutters, and that leaves a little flange of brass which gets in the way. So we're not going to be using that. We're using this one, which, as you can see, probably if I hold it here, I think you can see that, can't you?
Yep, right in the centre.
Thicker here than it is there. And these blades are right down to where the step is, and that gives a very nice job. I'm not going to do it on the lathe because it's very difficult to actually get things centered, particularly if they're drilled like when I showed Keith earlier, which I'm not proud of, but you can see that is nowhere near in the middle.
He's in the wood,
If you
and
put
that's about it.
Yeah, if you put your bit in the tailstock, your wood in there, you're going to have trouble because it's going to be wibbling around all over the place and they'll very likely break the tool. So I tend to do this on the pillar drill. So just to be flash, I'm going to
So
move
Rex
across the
B's
workshop.
joined us.
Hello, Rex. Move across the workshop to the pillar drill. Alison's going to the dustbin.
Hmm.
Get that in there in a minute. There we are. And I've made up. It's very simple. Can you see it? Yes, you can see it. Just a piece of ply. No, it's not ply. It's a piece of pine, old pitch pine. It's at the back of one of the church pews, in fact, and a couple of bits of mahogany or oak or something, oak, set at a right angle. That I can just hold that blank against the side of, and that's all that's going to hold it because it gives it a chance to move a little bit because that bit is always going to follow the brass tube, which is what you want it to do. So we'll find our way in. There it is. Probably better if I have hold of that handle. And you just go down until you start to see brass appearing. Or you can take it out and have a look. Yes, we've got a nice shiny surface.
So we've got
If I bring
Twisted
that,
Pete in from the trees, and
which
he's put a
camera are we on?
question in there
This one.
from that one.
Yeah, you can see we've got a nice shiny
Yep.
brass edge there. That's what you're trying to achieve. That step is entirely square. So just do the other end. Sorry. Hello, Pete.
And he's put a question in there. Is this a special request live for Robbo? And I don't know whether you follow Robbo at all, Andy, but he doesn't
Oh,
do
he doesn't like
pens.
pens, does he? No, he
No.
doesn't like pens at all. So it's special. Yes, it's special for Robbo. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
And
Where's
Wood
the other one?
Wizardry
Here it
by
is.
Collins joined us.
Hello, Colin. Right, we're going to do the other end, the other half of the pen, and the other blanks that we should be doing later. I've got prepared to this stage anyway, so we can do as many pens as we get time to do. I won't have to do all this bit first. Hello, what's going on here?
Yes, it is, Rex. It's just a straight flat bit of timber, either MDF ply,
Yeah,
OSB, anything like that.
Happens to be a bit of pine, but yeah, it could
Yeah,
be anything.
anything. And 2 uprights put on and set at 90 degrees, glued and screwed, I would imagine.
Yep, with a base thick enough so that the drill bit doesn't go all the way through and catch the bed of the drill. Because obviously you've got a bit sticking out the bottom. Just allow for that. That's all. Sorry, because I sharpened it earlier, obviously didn't tighten it up enough, or put it far enough up in the drill, because the chuck actually supports that bit as well. Okay, here we are.
Round 2.
It's not a bad thing to make a mistake or two.
It does
As we all
prove
do.
that we're all human at the end of the day.
Yep. That's lovely. That's perfect. Okay, so that's that bit done. I can put that drill bit away because we won't be needing that one again. And that one can go. Right, okay, so we're now going to get into actually turning. Be exciting, won't it?
It will be if we could see the lathe.
Yeah, you don't want to? Oh, God.
Yeah.
Full of demands, isn't it?
Just a bonus.
That's the one, isn't it? Yep. So I'm going to change the chuck over anyway, so. Excuse me.
Andy's got the these are Axminster pen drilling lathes jaws on his chuck. You can do it in any of the 4-jaw ones. You just need to be a bit careful.
Yeah.
It will self-center in the one that Andy's just put on as well.
Yeah. I tend to use all 4 jaws. I've took the other 2 off because you don't need them for this. But when I drilled all of these, I did actually have all 4 jaws on. So, you know, choice is yours. If your wood is not square, it's easy with only 2 because you know where you're going then. Right, so.
Sidley 61 has joined us as well.
Hello, Sidley. Right, get the Morse taper adapter in there. Like that. And then we'll get the mandrel. Right, now then. There are a variety of different types of mandrel for this. This one, I'm going to put a piece of timber there so I don't drop everything down through the bed of the lathe. Take it all off. Talking about dropping things. Right, so there it is. This bit here, can you see it? Yes. Tightens up to grip the central thing. So if you're only doing a key ring, for example, just a short bit, you can push that into the headstock and give yourself just enough to do what you want to do. I'm going to be turning both halves of this in one hit, so we'll put that on there and a spacer. These spacers are exactly the width that you need to turn to.
So Roy's the boy's joined us. He's managed to get in early for a change.
Hello, Roy.
Hi, Roy.
This is African teak, this one. Having said I was going to do Paducah, I'm doing African teak. Because I can. And you can see I've got, or at least I hope you can see. Yes,
yep,
just
see the marks, yep.
Got the arrows in the middle there. And a label telling me what the timber is, which I thought was awfully organised. I didn't make the labels, needless to say. So the screw that was on the end of here we don't use, because you can use that screw and put a centre.
Can you just pull the camera back a fraction? We can't see the bottom where you're working. Well, that's it.
Okay.
Yep.
So that it comes with that, because you can actually use it with a centre, tailstock centre, live centre in there. That's all right, but it's sort of not recommended practice these days, because you can, if you put too much pressure on, you can end up bending the mandrel and you'll never turn it properly then. So what they supply is this live centre again, but with a hole, and that puts all the pressure straight down through the brass tubes, through the bits of timber, down to the headstock.
Right, we've got a Michael Buckingham joined us, and he's put a question in the chat. Just wondering if any of you lovely people have turned a Pinard before. There are no videos on YouTube, and I was wondering if it was difficult.
No
Give us
idea
a
what a
clue what
Pinard
a
is.
Pinard is, Michael.
Yes.
And we might be able to point you in the right direction.
Does it
Certainly
have
don't
another name?
recognise. Yeah, certainly
No.
don't recognise Pinard as an item.
Right, so they're on there. You will have noticed that when I do a pen, a slimline pen, I do a slimline pen, and it's slimline all the way down. I don't do these figure of eight type ones that, sorry, I'm gesturing with my hands and you can't see me. I don't like those. It's a personal thing. Other people do, and that's absolutely fine. Don't have any problem with anybody doing what they like, so long as they let me do what I like. I like to have them nice and slim all the way down. The only modification I do to them, as you can see on one of the ones on YouTube, is if you've got somebody who's a bit arthritic in the hands, then I do put a little bead on the bottom end just before the nib, just to give them a chance to hold it.
Terry's put in, it's a stethoscope. Okay.
Oh, really? No, I never turned one of those.
No. No.
Oh, excuse me. And I wouldn't know where to start if I'm honest.
Oh, it's
Oh, is
the
it one of the ones you press against the
yeah,
body and you listen to the other
yeah,
end? I know the
yeah,
things. Yeah.
yeah. It's like an inverted or
Ear
a
trumpet.
funnel. Yeah, a funnel.
Yeah.
Using it in
Oh,
reverse.
Steve, SK would be the one for that.
Yeah, he's
He's
good
good
at
with funnels.
funnels. Yeah, and Chris Galandrell's just joined us in. No working today then, Chris? Or you're sitting in your big toy and watching it on the phone? So, can anyone help Michael with the instructions for making a Pinard, apart from Steve?
Sorry.
You carry on
Sorry, I
turning.
missed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you carry on turning. We're only talking about you.
I'd heard something about instructions for making a pen. Funnily enough,
Pinard.
I received. Oh, a Pinard, right? Sorry, Pinard, right? Okay.
Pinard. Yeah.
No idea. So I got the Styles and Bake catalogue today. So I had a quick glance through it, and in there they got a set of instructions for turning a pen. Right at the back of it.
Right, so Twisted Pete's put in, he has attempted to make one, but he thinks thin wood is the wrong medium. He got it really thin, but not as good as the plastic ones, which he's copied.
Oh, right. Yeah. I can see
Terry's
that.
put in there, he's not turned one. TJ turning, Terry's not turned one, but it should be easy enough. So that's one for Terry for next Monday, if he's turning on Monday.
There's a question of how well the material works, isn't it?
Yeah, I think you need a really close grained bit of timber.
Yeah, I would think so.
I would imagine something like box would be quite good for it.
Yeah.
You can't get out of it now, Terry. You've said it's going to be easy. It's only a 10-minute one for you.
Right, we're just down to where I trued the end off. You suddenly see them shrink in length when you get to that bit. Gives you a clue. Using the 3/4 inch spindle roughing gouge just for this bit. And then it's entirely up to you. This doesn't feel as sharp as it might be. It's entirely up to you what you use to finish it with. Tool rest is too high, that's the problem.
Michael's come back in and says they have always been made of wood before my wife has a wood one.
Oh, okay.
But wants him to make one. Okay. So there you go, Terry. Make one for Michael's wife. We'll show him how to make one. And Peter's put on if Terry's not on holiday, that is.
Yeah.
So you might have to wait a fortnight then, Michael, if Terry's away next week.
Right, we're getting there. Still got a bit to go. There's a couple of a millimetre or so to go on each one. Just got below my nose. Excuse me.
There you go, Michael. Drop the sizes in the chat and Terry will give it a go. Or message him direct. Or email him direct if he wants to put an email in the chat for you.
Right, so I'll get myself organised again. Lost my headset. There we go. Right, as I say, a little way to go still, and I'm going to go over to the skew now.
Is an overhead a better shot, Andy?
Could be.
We're quite a long way off at the moment.
That one?
Yeah, I don't think you can't get any lower, can you?
Lower on that, no.
No.
That one's a bit closer in, but from the tailstock end.
Oh, that's okay. It's the green one. Yeah, it's the green one.
Yeah, it is
right,
the green one.
Alison's off. Can you give her a quick wave?
Bye, Alison. Cooey. She waved back, so I'm all right.
Okay, yeah. So apparently sizes was one of the things Michael wasn't sure about.
Oh, right, yeah.
So Terry's going to have to do a little bit of research on that one, which I'm sure he's capable of doing.
On these ends, it's worth working from the end towards the middle, just so you don't tear up the timber on the ends, because that's where they're most likely to break, because you really are turning this incredibly thin. You'll be able to see that when we take the pen apart or start putting the pen back together.
Now I would probably do it the opposite way. I'd do what you are there, run off the ends carefully. And you don't get any instant breakout with the...
No, true. You can argue it both ways, but...
yeah.
Actually, thinking about it, I think I probably said that wrong, because I think I do tend to do it this way. I was applying too much logic to it.
Yeah, you're chasing the shaving off the end rather than
pushing into it.
Yeah, trying to pick up a shaving that isn't there.
So scrub around what I said, completely ignore that, and go this way.
So Paul Heighton's put in a question or a remark for Terry. If you look on Pinterest, you'll probably find the photos and sizes of a Pinard. I don't know whether he's trying to wind you up, Terry, but...
you may well. There's all sorts of stuff on there.
Yeah. And Benjamin's joined us. Didn't think he could last it for not making it.
We were missing him.
Yeah. No comments as yet. I think he's still asleep or having his McDonald's, whatever.
Right, that's roughly the shape I want it. Stick that out of the way. Get the glass paper out. And we'll start with 120. I think we probably could go with 180. I'll do 120. I've left a little bit proud of the spacers because of the glass paper. Not that it's that critical, but
well, all the answers are coming up now. Earpiece 45mm, trumpet 47mm in length. No, 47mm, and the length is 175mm. Thank you, Paul.
There you go.
So you've got no excuses now, Terry. or Michael. A picture of both from both of you, so we know what it's looks like. But I think from what Pete was saying, that the wood needs to be preferably something that will resonate a bit. But you
So
also
probably
need,
quite hard, close grained.
yeah, a very close grained wood.
Just whip through these.
Right, you've been going half an hour, Andy.
Oh, that's all right.
And you've got 39 in here staring at you.
Jolly good. 39, which, considering I'm doing pens, that's not bad. I like doing pens. I don't care what anybody else says.
No, I quite enjoy these. That's a small one, Paul. Terry says the long one is 330mm long, and the ones he's seen are made out of ash. Okay.
No.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Twisted Pete's put in there probably a good project, Keith.
Everything's a good project.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of spare at the moment, though, Pete. I think I've used most of it.
Oh, I've still got some if you need some. What are we doing? Yeah, I'm not. I suppose we could. Yes, I will. I'll Yorkshire grit it.
So it looks like Michael's a complete beginner. He's only made a couple of bowls so far, so he thinks it's a little bit out of his experience yet. Well,
probably get some experience, yeah.
Yeah, welcome to YouTube and watching what we do on here. Hopefully you will learn something from it. We're trying to give out as much instruction as we can.
Right.
I'm not reading that, Terry. We're on to the use bit at the moment.
All right.
Definitely not Roy. And Chris Dodds has put in there, he finds turning pens relaxing and good for muscle. It is.
And if you want to experiment with finishes and things, I mean, it's quick and easy. So it's a good thing to do.
So Terry's just put on, he's on at 1 o'clock next Monday, Michael, and he will have a go at it. So there you go. So we'll pop over and see if we can annoy Terry and barrack him a bit. But he's going to have a go at it. Yeah, well done, Terry. Nice to take up the challenge. It's Martin, it's not overly necessary on small pieces like this to sand and seal it first.
The grain, but
the grain was fairly tight on this.
Yeah, it is.
So
it's far from essential. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. And
I had intended to, but you're quite right.
If you don't get a good finish the first dose, you put a second dose on.
Yeah.
So,
but I'm going to put melamine over the top of this, which will give it a finish anyway. Gives everything a finish. It's good stuff. I like melamine. Show it to the camera, if I can find it.
It's there, but you're a bit close. Yep, that's it.
Oh yeah, I'm zoomed in. That's why.
Yeah.
And there's a delay on this camera, so nothing moves when I try and do it.
I know. Yeah. So Michael's saying that pens is the next on his list, and then and Andy is easy to watch. Hence why I'm here. Yep. Fine.
That's very kind of you. Thank you.
Yep.
But I seriously, I really enjoy doing them. You know, I'm a bit silly like
Michael
that, but
McEwen's in.
so I'll just give this a little squirt for now. I will also be, once it's dried, buffing it with carnauba wax on the buffing system. But I can't do that just yet. In fact, I can't do anything much just yet. Gotta wait for that to dry.
Right. Well, while that's drying, then I would just say there are many styles of pens out there, and a lot of people are going over to the single piece wooden or plastic or acrylic centered pens, saying that they're much more saleable and preferably easier to turn. Yes, they are easier to turn. They generally have a bigger diameter because they're more of a cigar shaped pen. But if you can turn two pieces like Andy's doing here, end to end, and get a grain match, it does look a lot more effective than having so much plastic or metal on the single piece ones.
I couldn't
But
agree more. Yeah,
that is purely my thoughts on that one. I know people that won't turn the slimline ones or the streamline ones. The streamline one has a slightly fatter centre barrel, centre band,
that's right.
and
Yeah, I know a
that's
lot of
the
people
only
don't like the
difference.
slimline ones, but I do. I
Mm.
think they're very nice.
Well, I turn in excess of 200 of these each year, only because I give those away or donate them to various veterans charities around the country, and
Yeah,
they sell them to make get some funds together.
I was just trying to improve the colour. That that colour on that camera is awful. It's gone green.
Yeah, we can still see what you're doing.
Yeah, that's too far away. That one, that'll do. It's only just while it's drying.
Mm.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah,
The other
watching
thing,
stain dry.
the other thing I would say while this is drying is that if you're going to keep the grain matching, it's quite difficult to see the grain sometimes. So I made one of these some years ago as a cotton reel stand for a competition at one of the clubs I belong to, and it's ideal for putting pens on. So you put one on the other on top, because the arrows obviously have gone now. I've turned them off, so you have them so that they sit on there one above the other, and you keep them in that orientation all the time. So that's just a little idea. It's only a piece of this happened to be oak because it was for a competition, but or a demo actually I think it was. But either way, that's a useful little gadget.
And if you haven't got anything like that, as you take the two pieces off, I run around the top and the bottom with a felt tip pen,
Yeah,
which are both going to be covered with the metal pieces as you put them in, so you won't see it. So
yeah,
you know you've got two ends. The two clean pieces will be the centres. So you've got two
absolutely.
ways of doing it. So if you don't want to make up a cotton reel stand, my cotton reel stand is, I think I've got 36 4-inch nails
I was going to
driven
say
through a
4-inch
piece of
nails do the
ply.
job just as well, but
Yeah,
this
driven through.
happened to be one I'd made. Hasn't
Mm.
sold. I haven't really tried to sell it, so I thought it would be ideal for that purpose. It's nearly dry. It's getting there. I'll just give it a little bit of heat, just a little bit. Oh, it's not plugged in. Apart from that, everything's fine. Here it is. Of course, I had the prox on, didn't I? I haven't got enough sockets.
No, it just started raining here as well. Very light rain.
Yeah.
Because we didn't do a weather forecast this morning before we started or as we started, but it was pretty overcast down here in West Sussex and yucky. But like I say, I'm 15, 20 minutes up the road from Andy, and to me it's raining.
It was trying to here earlier. I don't know what it's doing now, but it probably
Yeah.
has succeeded.
Well, there
Oh
was a
yes, it's quite
dampness.
wet.
Yeah.
It's quite wet out there, so I suspect it is actually raining. Yes, it is.
Mm.
So, yeah. I'm just that little bit closer to the downs here, and it's surprising the difference in the weather we get from Keith to me. That's dry. That's lovely. Okay, so take that off of there. Take the bits off the end. Put that with the middle upwards. Take the bush off. Put that with the middle downwards. And that's the orientation they're going to be when we put them together.
Unless
So
he
what I'm
knocks
going
them
to
over
do now,
onto the floor.
yes, yeah, that would be that. Yes, but hey, then I'd have to try and match them.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do now is to do an acrylic one.
Okay.
I've got this Reef Bear. It's Root Beer. Turn it the right way up and I can read it. Root Beer is the colour it's called. Excuse me.
And Colin's put Kingston just a bit further up the road, 3/4 of an hour further up. It's miserable and dull up there as well. And Gerard's put cold but bright blue sky here in the rebel country. No, we don't have a slightest bit of blue in the sky here. It's slate grey.
I've just lost my bush. I've got another one. That's all right. It's somewhere under the lathe.
Oh, you're not going to be putting bucketfuls of shavings down there.
No. It's just long enough for two of these, but only just.
Yes, it is, Lawrence. A paint stripper blower heater is a little bit aggressive on heat, or you hold it 3 times the distance away.
Yeah, that's right.
I use a hot air gun because I don't happen to have a spare hairdryer.
I had to buy my wife a new hairdryer, so I pinched her old one. That's why I've ended up with a hairdryer. I have got a hot air gun somewhere in the cupboard, I think, but that it's nice and gentle, and if I forget and put it too close, it doesn't come back and bite me. So
Rob CP's just joined us. Hi, Rob. And Chris
this
Dodds
basically
doesn't have any blue over there because it's the middle of the night.
Right, okay, fine.
Yep.
This broadly speaking is the same as turning a timber one. Broadly speaking, you can use carbide tools. I don't like them. I've tried. I can't get on with them. And in fact, the only time I use one for a pen, I smash the acrylic. So I'm going to carry on using my wood turning tools.
So the weather forecast is coming in nationwide at the moment. So
good.
Up in Wisbeach it's raining, so Barry says, and Chris is saying in the clay pits down in Cornwall the sun shines out.
It's snow in Scotland, I should think.
Yeah.
They're certainly headed that way, weren't they?
Well, it wasn't very good forecast, was it, for that end of the world?
No. Such great big blanks, these acrylic ones, some of them.
Hell of a lot of waste, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah. I've got a white one that I've got prepared as well, but that's a fraction of the size. It's what, about 12 mil?
Yeah.
I swear. As opposed to what, 18, 19, 20 maybe.
I could have brought some corian down to you, so you could have done that.
I tried that once.
Not the most user friendly, but
no. I bought it from Simon Hope actually down at Yandles. Their big show they have.
Right.
I went down there and I bought it down there. But I wasn't that impressed with it. The finish wasn't great. I made cufflinks out of it actually.
Oh, right.
The only thing I've done so far, but
I've turned pens out of it, but and the 10 or 11 mil that I had that was used for countertops is just right for slim lines, because it's like you only got a 7 mil hole through, so
All
you
right.
don't
Yes. Yeah.
have to turn a lot away,
No. No, that's true.
which
Not like
is
this.
which is a bonus.
Yes, this could have made a thumping great sized fountain pen, couldn't it?
Which is the better glue to use? Glue the tubes in thin or medium. Okay, Colin, for the polyester blanks, you want the medium glue or even the thick glue for the CA, but if you're gluing in wood blanks, you want the 2-part epoxy or a foaming wood glue, which is what I use.
I actually used 2-part epoxy on this one as well,
Okay.
simply because that was what I was using at the time.
Mm-hmm.
It works perfectly well.
But you wouldn't use a thin CA on them, because it's just not.
No.
You'd end up with half the tube in and half the tube out before it went off. So you're better off with the open time.
Yeah, it doesn't have the gap filling capability that the thicker one has.
So the medium at a minimum, but thick if you've got it.
Right, we're getting there.
Now this is where I would definitely run off the end rather than run onto the end with the chisels. That's where I always, when I've always had the chip out. Yeah.
Yeah. It does chip very easily, this stuff, doesn't it?
Some are worse than others. But you definitely want the bevel rubbing.
Yes. At the moment I'm getting just the bevel rubbing and not the cutting edge. Apart from that, everything's fine. When you think what we're asking it to do, this is to give us a strong tube about 0.5 millimetre thick. It's not surprising you sometimes get problems, is it?
No, and Terry's doing a runner. Thanks for stopping by, Terry.
Cheers, Terry.
Everyone pop in to see him next Monday when he does his whatever he's doing.
Whatever it's called.
Yeah.
I can't remember either. Oh, it's messy stuff, this acrylic, isn't it?
It's one of the reasons I don't do a lot of it.
Yeah, I would do very little. It's only on pens. It's the only time we use it at all.
But do you find the acrylic pens sell quicker than or slower than the wood pens?
No, about 50-50, I think.
Right. And Tommy's Workshop's joined us. People
like the colour of the acrylic ones, but they like the authenticity of the wooden ones. They understand a bit of timber is a bit of timber. And they come to see wood turning. When they come to see me, they come to see wood turning, not plastic. So, you know, I'm quite pleased by that result, actually, because I would have thought the colour would have won.
And Chris has asked, what is the best tool to use for acrylic blanks? Well, your new spindle roughing gouge is a good one to start with, Chris, but it's all down to tool presentation.
I'm down to nearly...
Go on, Andy.
Sorry. I'm down to nearly the finished size now, but still using the roughing gouge.
Yeah, I quite often use a spindle gouge if the wood's not too bad, or a bowl gouge and use the wings.
Yeah.
So the
I know
last thing
you were.
I would use is carbide on these because I find, or the only experience I've had is it's chip tip and I've lost the
Yes,
complete unit. So
absolutely.
I
I know we
certainly
get an
wouldn't use.
argument about that from certain people,
Yep.
but I don't get on with carbides. I've tried them. I bought a cheap set, admittedly, which perhaps was a mistake. But I wasn't going to spend a lot of money on them and then not use them. Right, I'm very nearly there.
hmm
Just going to go over it with a skew.
So
Can't
Chris,
remember how.
it's really down to what you've got, but gentle tool presentation. Don't lean on it because it's only on a
Absolutely.
7mm
Make
mandrel
sure you're
in the
getting
centre.
a
Yeah.
nice slicing cut as well. Don't just scrape it, because that
No,
will tend to rough it up a bit.
if you scraped it, you'd end up with most of it missing, I think.
Yeah.
It'll just chip out, and there are different grades and different acrylics out there as well. Some are better than others.
I'm sure there are. I'm not an expert on acrylics
No, nor am
at
I.
all.
No.
Should I try the oval one? Just for a laugh. Haven't used this for a long time.
This is the camera that flickers a bit handy as well.
Oh, is it?
But
Which
yeah,
one are
it's all
we
right.
on?
Don't worry. It's only gone twice.
Oh, is it? Oh, that's doing better then, isn't it?
Mm.
But the one I used on the drill was one we had trouble with before. So it was kicking about, so I thought, well, I'll try it and see, and it worked perfectly all right. So they vary.
Yeah, something to do with the weather outside. So Martin from Forking Ales said he only used round carbide on acrylic and square on wood. Yeah, if you're not careful, you'd need to do a hell of a lot of sanding
Yeah.
if you're just
Right.
using carbides on wood,
That
particularly at something
shouldn't.
this small. And Collins put
That
in he
shouldn't.
uses negative rate carbides on his pens and never had a chip out.
That shouldn't need too much more now.
And he would probably
I'll get out
use
of it.
traditional if he'd got some decent ones. Yeah, you use what you've got available, as long
That's
as
right.
it's sharp.
Absolutely. The other thing I learnt is not to make it too hot
I
when you're
was just
sanding, because it melts.
thinking the same. Yep, go soft.
I did some earrings, sort of teardrop earrings. So of course there's a fairly thin end to them, and I suddenly thought that's going a bit strange, and the whole thing had bent at right angles.
Mhm.
It's one way of learning.
But using the net abrasive that Andy's using here, you can actually dip it in water on acrylic,
You can, yes, you can.
which keeps it cooler, and it does wash some of the crap out because it does tend to clog up a bit in the in the net, but it does knock out relatively easy.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I like this. It's a bit pricey, but it does the job. I'm leaving these slightly oversized because I've got a feeling those blanks you gave me have got the larger middle bits, haven't they?
Yes, they're slightly heavier on
Centre
the
ring.
centre. Yeah.
So I think I'll just leave this a fraction oversize. Might look a bit neater. I know I've used those before, and I made a big difference, but they were more marked than the ones that I got off you. I think that might do for the first
Yeah,
bit.
Pete's got the right idea. Twisted Pete. best way
Yeah.
to turn resin is in someone else's workshop with someone else's hands
Someone
and
else's
someone else
tools.
to clear it up. Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely, Pete. I do tend to agree. I mean, I only do the pens because they do sell, and it gives people a bit of a choice. But I wouldn't do them otherwise. They look nice on display. Puts a bit of colour in, doesn't it? Mind you, my
Yeah,
platters do that as well. But
yeah. And Martin's put in easy wood tools all the way. That's fine, Martin. They are bloody
if you can
expensive,
afford
though.
them, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Unless you get sponsorship, then you're all right.
Mm,
I mean, naming no names, of course.
no, no. The only carbide I use on a regular basis is the Simon Hope 6mm cutter. For
Yeah, although technically that's not. I mean, it is a carbide tool, but it's not a scraper. It's a cutting
no,
tool,
it's a
isn't it?
cutter. Yeah, yeah.
So which makes a big difference to me because it gives you a much better finish.
Mm. Oh yes. So Collins asked what grit are you using. I think you started about 120 and you're working up through.
180, I'm on 240 now. I usually go up to about 1200, but if I'm going to use Yorkshire grit, I don't need to, obviously.
Doug Miller's just joined us as well.
So I'm going up to 400, which is my normal habit. This is 400 now. I took notice of Martin, whatever his name is, Yorkshire, from Hampshire Sheen. Martin.
Sabine Smith.
That's the one.
Smith. Yep.
He reckoned that you don't need to use 320.
Right.
Because he has a formula for working it out.
Yeah, double it each time, and it will halve it each
the
time.
number of the one you've just used, double it, and then fit the top one that you've got into that bracket, which makes 320 superfluous. Which is an interesting thought.
So Terry's joined us back for a minute or two from Mr.
Hello, Terry.
TJ.
Nice to see you again.
Mm.
Okay, so that's that. Now we Yorkshire grit it, which is up here. Cloth, there it is. Because it works very well on acrylic, Yorkshire grit.
Oh, Terry's just saying he's created a link for his Monday lunchtime live, the Pinhead, whatever they call it. Yeah.
Well done.
You can't keep a good man down.
No, absolutely.
No.
Some have further down to go than others. But I didn't say that.
No, Terry hasn't got that far to go down, has he, apparently?
That was the joke I was referring to, yeah. Actually, I think from my conversation with him, I'm shorter than he is, actually. I seem to remember.
I don't think there's a lot of difference between Terry, you and myself.
No, 5'7.5" I am.
Yeah, I think I'm 5'7 1/4. Unless I put the heels on. But that's only for weekends.
I try and avoid that because I fall off them now.
Yeah.
It's nice to talk to listen to Tiny Turner, Emma.
Oh yeah.
When she talks 4'10" or whatever it is.
Yeah, 4'10 1/4, is it?
A quarter, isn't it? I think it is a quarter. Yeah. Makes me feel absolutely huge.
Well, you stand next to her, you're absolutely huge.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I did down at Canterbury. I had a chat with her, and she is really that small, isn't she?
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Lovely person.
Yeah.
Really friendly.
Colin's saying he's only 5'7". Is that standing or laying, Terry? Colin.
With me, it doesn't matter which way up I am. Same width as I am high. Yeah, nothing wrong with being in the 5/7s.
No.
Right, so. Oh, now that wants something else on it to finish it, doesn't it? So it can have a bit of Hampshire Sheen microcrystalline, since it's sitting here. I know you don't need to, but belts and braces. Just a quick whip over.
Don't want that.
It'll be buffed up with carnauba anyway, because I tend to do all of my pens, because they're going to take a bit of handling, aren't they? They're designed to be held.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm trying to put a link in, and it
Right.
it won't let me download it at the moment.
Right, that's that. And then we're going to have, oh, not much time to do much else. We'll put them together.
While you're doing that, I'm not in the chat because I'm trying to. Why can't I grab that off of there? Okay. Forward to.
Dum, da-dum, da-dum, da-dum. That way. Because again, it's quite nice to match up the patterns on the acrylic ones.
Yeah.
If you can. You can't always do it, but it's quite nice to. So we'll take that off of there. And then we'll talk about what am I doing? Yeah, I'll take that out. No, I don't.
When it comes through, there you go, Terry. Took me a bit of time to get it over, but there's the link for Terry's Monday lunchtime live, where he's doing his
Lovely.
whatever it is,
We'll
Pinard.
try and be there, Terry. See it. Right, now then, putting pens together. We have all the bits and pieces in there. Yes, you can see what's in there, more or less. There's the refill, there's the clip, there's the top bit, the middle bit, and the bottom bit, and then the windy bit that goes in the middle. I'm sure most of you have seen these. I have got a proper pen press, but they're very expensive, I think, for what they are, so I'm not going to use it. I've made up two little bits of mahogany, which work very well on the lathe. Oh, try taking that out of there, as a pen press. I don't think I can do it. No, I can't do it with this bit of timber here, but not to worry.
So Gerard's put in, if you are using hybrid blanks, how would you finish it? Treat it as a wood one or an acrylic one? Well, you've got to treat it as a wooden one, but you can. Oh God, what do you put on there? On your wooden one?
Yorkshire
What's
grit and a melamine.
melamine? You can
Melamine.
melamine over the whole
Oh
thing.
yeah, yes you can. As you've seen, I've treated these two very, very similarly in terms of how I turned them, what I finished them with. Very similarly. I could have treated them exactly the same, which was obviously would suit a hybrid. So don't get too screwed up about all that. You can get away with a lot. Right, so it's going to be that way round. got two little bits that match there. That wants to be the nib end. Slightly larger diameter there. So we'll pop that into there. Wind this down here.
And Tommy's put it. If that's a link, it doesn't work. Okay.
Sorry?
It's all right. I tried putting a link for Terry's Monday, but apparently it doesn't work.
Oh.
So let me go back to Messenger. Copy it again. And try again. Ah, why isn't... Okay. It's missed the first bit off.
Oh. That doesn't help.
No. I don't want to do that.
It's a good idea to remember to take the wax off the point of the pen before you try and squeeze it through the gap at the end.
Mm-hmm.
It works better.
Copy. Okay. I'll do it this way.
Go in
might
just
work.
a fraction further.
Paste.
You have got a line on these things to tell you how far to push this in.
Right, try that, guys, and let me know.
So on this piece, there's a line round there which is supposed to be how far you push it in. I never trust it. I always put it in about 3 mil short of that, and then test the pen to see how it works. Hello. That's it, and that's perfect.
On some of these, you'll find there's quite a heavy globule of either wax or some of them are now putting resin or rubber on the end of the nib so they don't dry out. So you've got a bit of a struggle to get the ink out the end. So that's possibly where you were struggling then. Apparently that link works.
It's quite a substantial lump of stuff on the bottom, but I had actually just forgotten to take it off before I put it together. I mean, it went through, but it struggled a little bit. But anyway, good. That works good. As you can see, this works very well for pushing pens together. It's really not a problem. And there it is.
Yes, you can use a bench vise. You can also use compression clamps, G-clamps, anything like that. At least with using this method, I find that you don't have to hold either end or try and balance the clamp or whatever, because both ends are fixed. All you've got is your hand on the actual pen parts that you're putting together.
And you can make up bits that go into here, which in fact a friend of ours has just done for you, hasn't he?
Yes.
Which have actually recesses in that will fit the bits of the pen. So that you can do that as well. Lots of different ways. Have you all seen? I don't suppose you have all seen one of the pen presses. I'll dig mine out just to show you all. Let's move this out of the way. And I'll put the other one together then. Let's move that over to there. I'm running out of space in here.
So you've put them together in a different combination then, have you, Pete? He says he thought he'd discovered a new shape, but a bead fillet cove bead combo. Yeah, you can use it in any combination you like. Yeah.
So there we are. That's the pen press. I think hugely expensive for what it is. Can you see that all right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, you're looking at something around 60 quid for one of these.
I've got a feeling it was more than that, but yeah, it's expensive anyway. And you can see how it works. The only advantage to it is you can actually take pens apart with it, which is what all these rods here are for, to poke them through from the other end.
Yep.
That's the only advantage I've found to it. So there it is. As I say, if I'm doing a lot, I'll use it because I have it set up on the other side of the workshop, and I don't have to keep stripping things off the lathe. But for doing the odd one or two like what we're doing today, there's no point. It's not necessary.
So Ben's
So
come back with his normal one-liners. Why buy a nutcracker when you can just buy a 4K lathe?
absolutely, quite right,
Yep.
Ben. And it wasn't 4K. It was a bit less than that. Right, let's put the other one together so that we can say we've done them both. What did I put in that? Where's it gone? Oh,
It's
there it
over
is.
there.
Right, that was copper or rose gold.
Rose
My
gold.
daughter prefers to call it.
Mm.
So let's do a black one on this. Of course we can.
And I think you'll find this is black chrome.
Yeah, it's
not black paint.
It's not. No, it's
they
not
do.
black paint.
Yeah, they do some that were just black enamel. Some of the cheaper ones.
That's right, they do.
Yeah, these are black chrome, which
You
are actually quite pretty.
You end up with so many little bags, don't you?
Yeah, and that's what takes the time, getting them all out of the bags.
Yeah, put those copper tubes in there because I have a bag of spares that I use. Then I don't have to open the kit too early and lose bits. My little stainless steel pot. Anything to keep it all together, especially when you're working on the lathe because you've got that big hole down there.
Yeah, I've got one the same, but I've got one with a magnet in the base, so it actually sticks itself onto the lathe or over top the headstock or whatever. Yeah.
You know, if you drop anything, it's going to go down amongst all the sawdust on the floor.
Yep. So Andrew's just joined us. You're not too late, Andrew, from Webfoot Resin and Wood Creations. We're just about to put the first one together, which was the second one, or the second one together, which was the first one, shall I say?
Yeah, whichever, whatever you like. So that's going to go into there. That into there. Lock that up and push it in. Just keep an eye on it. Make sure it doesn't twist as you're tightening it. But I mean, they very rarely do, but it can happen.
It's the acrylic ones I find are the ones that are tending to twist, or when you put the mechanism in like this, you haven't got a lot of support in the middle, so you have to guide it
holding
in.
That, yeah. And you can see the line there we're supposed to go to. I usually go to about the top of the brass bit, and then put the refill in.
Yeah. So Michael's just put on the Axminster Deluxe is 120. Pretty pricey if you're just starting. Yes, you don't need it, Michael. No. It's a nice toy to have.
Mine was
you don't need it
because it has all those things for removing, taking pens apart, but you don't need it. And I think I've just proved that. That can go in just a little bit further. I'd rather that than have to try and pull it back out again because they're a nightmare to get out. They're very, very tight. That's it. Sorry, talking with a mouthful. That's it. Perfect.
Yeah. Now the amount that you have to push that in is determined by the amount you take off the end of the brass tube as well. So you only just want to touch the brass tube.
Yep.
You don't want to take a massive amount off.
No, sometimes I have gone further than that. There is room in there to do that. If you've got a slight bit of damage or something on the timber you want to just get rid of, you can do it. But be prepared for having a problem.
But if you're doing it on parallel bits like Andy's using here, the shorter piece should be the top, the cap, because you've got more space up there.
There's more space in there, yeah.
Yeah, so
you can see there's half an inch spare, and I've removed some of the brass tube in here, so there's plenty of room, and there it is, working beautiful. So there we have. I'm going to come over here and sit down.
A brace of pens.
A brace of pens. There. Quite nice.
Quite nice, yeah.
So
there's really 35 still watching you. You've been going an hour and a quarter.
Turn that round and get that pattern to match up. the grain on here hasn't got a lot to match anyway. It was more the principle of it I was showing. Oh, that's it. That's where it goes. So yes, so that you probably won't be able to see it at all because I could barely see it sitting here. But that bit there, no, there lines up with a bit on the other side a little bit. But you can see it better on this one. We have a black knobby there, and a similar one there. Those were in one piece originally. So
you're
they line
taking
up.
out about 2-3 mil at the maximum, so you should get
Yeah.
a pretty good line up, because
Yes.
those
Yeah.
centre bands that Andy's got there are quite a wide one. You can get thinner ones as well, or slip, not so deep.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the ones I put onto YouTube as my thumbnail had a thinner one than that, but they're all fine. They all do the job, don't they?
Yeah. So Gerard's very nice, Andy. Time to hit the shed. Don't hit it too hard, but have a go at turning while you're down there.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Chris. And Rob. And if anybody was above Rob, because he's disappeared off the top. Royce the boy. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Gerard. Yep, everybody, thank you very much for your lovely comments. It's always nice to see them, and it's much appreciated.
Before
really
you
is.
all
That's all we get out of it. So
yeah,
so
before
I'll
you
bring
all
Keith
disappear
back
off, Andy's doing next Tuesday lunchtime, I believe, and I'm doing next Tuesday evening.
What's that? The 18th, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes, I'm doing lunch. You're doing the evening. Yep.
Yep. So we're doing a full day on that one.
Yep.
But Rich is on tonight. I haven't seen a link for him yet, but
no, I haven't. I got no reply from him about the question I asked. But the one he was doing last Tuesday was just a pen or something. Was it a pen?
Right.
It was
so
just
Gerard,
sort of a drop-in one.
So Gerard's going to attempt to ring an earring holder with onion build finish, as I suggested when Keith did it. Okay, that's fine. We'll put a picture up when you've done it,
Put
Gerard.
a picture up. Yeah, always be interested to see it.
Yep. No, mine. The one I did's getting a lot of use. Management's acquired that one, so that's good.
Yes, Alison had one of the very first one I made, I think, which is if you look at the little symbol that goes alongside my name on YouTube, that's a picture of it, but it's a very small picture. But that's one with the lid. It's a little box on the top and ring around and all the rest of it, because it was for a competition. And yes, she's still using it and loves it, so which is good.
Thank you, Michael. I guessed it was your first visit. I think you and I spoke on one of Wood Turning International the other day as well. But thank you for joining us. Hopefully you've hit the like and subscribe button down the bottom,
glad
so you'll get notified.
Absolutely, yes. Hit the subscription button and
Roy, what is a Pinard? A Pinard is
have a look on Monday.
a device for listening to an unborn child's heart, I think is the best way of describing that.
Yeah, it's a sort of form of stethoscope, but it doesn't go into both ears.
It
just is it's like an ear trumpet that you put up against the tummy of the pregnant mum.
It's like a funnel, but a little bit more refined.
Thank you, Chris Glanville. Good. Okay. Well, thank you very much, everybody. That's an hour and 20 minutes. That's not too bad. And I think hopefully we managed to cover it fairly thoroughly. That was the intention, anyway.
Yeah.
Supposed to be just a quickie.
When you can knock out a pen in 4 or 5 minutes turning, if it's wood, it's quite therapeutic, but it's quite fun. But it's no good for you guys watching.
It's quite an achievement to make it last an hour, really, isn't it? Well, half an
hour each. Half an hour each, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you very much, everybody, for coming along. It's good to see you all again. Still 28 watching, so and we'll see you next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday lunchtime on this channel, and then Tuesday evening on
Tuesday.
mine.
Circular Keith by Wood.
Mm,
Lovely.
as some
Good.
say.
Thank you very much, and be careful. Look after
Yep.
yourselves.
Bye all.
Bye. Bye, everybody.